Today, Ollie is heading into the mountains to collect some natural rock salt. He scales the steep cliffs, and while he's at it, he picks some ripe fruit to bring home. Early in the morning, Ollie made his way deep into the mountains. He explains that these mountains hold a treasure of natural rock salt. He's planning on gathering some of it to take home. Right now, he's in the Dena mountains of Iran. It's part of the Zagros mountain range, an 80-kilometer-long sub-range. Ollie stops by the river to wash his face. After a drink of fresh spring water, he continues on his way along the riverbank. The rock salt deposit is just up ahead. It doesn't take long. Ollie spots on the riverside rocks a layer of white crystals. This white sediment is the naturally formed rock salt. Ollie arrives at the spot with the most rock salt. He breaks off a piece with his hand and places it on his tongue to taste it. He can't help but praise it. This rock salt is amazing. These salt crystals are incredibly hard. It's impossible to break them off with just his bare hands. He's going to need a tool. First, Ollie finds a small wooden stick and tries to pry a small piece of salt from the rock layer. But no matter how hard he tries, it just won't budge. With no other choice, Ollie finds a rock and smashes it in half, exposing a sharp edge. Then he uses the sharp corner of the stone to chip away at the hard rock layer piece by piece. This is how he breaks the rock salt into smaller chunks. Even though this salt layer looks like stone, its story can be traced back millions of years. A long time ago, this area used to be an ancient ocean. Due to tectonic plate movements, the seawater gradually receded, leaving behind large amounts of salt buried underground. Over a vast period of time, underground saltwater springs continuously seeped to the surface. As soon as it hit the hot sunlight, the water evaporated, leaving only the white salt crystals behind, layer upon layer. Just like that, it accumulated into the thick salt layer we see today. The rock salt here is a crystallized gift from nature, millions of years in the making. It hasn't been processed in any way. Therefore, its composition is more complex and much closer to its original state. Ollie needs to collect some to take back. He mainly uses it to feed his cattle and sheep, and occasionally as a daily seasoning. He doesn't eat large amounts of it. This has been a tradition for generations. In the middle, before long, Ollie had filled an entire bag with rock salt. It's enough for his family and livestock to last for a very long time. This is a gift from the mountains. It's also the most dependable and practical resource in a nomad's life. Ollie carries the bag of rock salt and prepares to load it into his vehicle. His truck is parked on the side of the road not far from here. Ollie borrowed this pickup truck from a friend. The roads in the mountains are rough and uneven. His regular car can't make it in here. This is a wild rose bush. Its branches are covered with small fruits, with the dried up calyx still attached to the top. These are rose hips. It's different from the common garden roses people are familiar with. It's not a climbing vine type. Instead, it's a rose shrub that grows in the mountains. Ollie plans to pick some to take back with him. He says this fruit has a calming effect and is very good for the nerves. Locals often use it to relieve fatigue and soothe emotions. But rose hips cannot be eaten raw. They need to be cooked before they can be eaten. They have a slightly sour taste, with a light, elegant fragrance. After being cooked, they can be made into jam, juice, or fruit tea. Cooking them helps release more of their vitamin C and antioxidants. Rose hips typically ripen from late summer to early fall, usually between August and October. Right now, it's late August, the time when these planted fruits are gradually maturing. Most of the rose hips have already turned a golden yellow. In a few more weeks, the fruit's color will change from yellow to orange, red, or deep red. At that point, the rose hips will be at their peak in terms of flavor and nutritional value. Ollie picks some of the more mature rose hips and continues further up the mountain. There are more rose hips on the slope. He wants to bring a good amount back home. The vegetation in this mountain area is relatively lush. Wildflowers and grasses are everywhere. Bees are busy collecting nectar from the flowers. The locals call this place Flower Mountain. Every now and then, Ollie comes across some valuable wild medicinal herbs and picks them to take home. This is how the nomads in the mountains live. Whenever they find useful herbs, they'll pick them, even if it's just a small handful of leaves. They never let them grow here for nothing. Soon, Ollie gathers some more rose hips and then continues his ascent. Before long, he arrives in front of a waterfall. This waterfall has a fairly high drop, with water cascading down from above. The volume of the waterfall isn't very large, and there's a pipe on the side, running down the cliff face from a higher point. Perhaps it's used by nearby herders for irrigation, or for their daily water supply. Ollie puts down his backpack and stands in front of the waterfall. The next moment, he dashes right into it. The ice-cold water droplets pour down from his head, chilling him to the bone. Who would have thought that a man well into his years, upon seeing this stream of cool, flowing water, would have his eyes suddenly light up with a youthful excitement? He has lived in the mountains his whole life, and even though time has etched wrinkles on his face, life has not worn down his spirit. He still maintains an inner passion for connecting with nature, just like a young man. After walking out from the waterfall, Ollie feels it wasn't enough and runs back under the curtain of water. This time, he loses his footing and accidentally twists his ankle. Fortunately, it's nothing serious. Ollie just moves it around a bit. Then he picks up his cloth bag and prepares to find a place to rest. After all, he's getting older. No matter how young he feels at heart, he ultimately doesn't have the same endless energy as a truly young person. After a short rest, Ollie picks up his bag again and prepares to climb up this steep rock face. He's going to the top to gather some valuable medicinal herbs. On this trip into the mount, Ollie's goal isn't just for one type of fruit or herb. Instead, he wants to bring as many of the mountain's gifts as possible back home. In just a short time, Ollie has climbed the steep cliff. There's a clear mountain spring here, bubbling up from the ground, thanks to the nourishment from this spring. The surrounding wild grass grows exceptionally thick. Ollie has already gathered some medicinal herbs. At this moment, Ollie feels a dull ache in his knee. It's probably from when he accidentally twisted his ankle by the waterfall. Ignoring the pain in his knee, Ollie continues to gather some thyme. This is one of the most popular herbs in the daily life of a nomad. After picking a few sprigs of thyme, Ollie is now getting ready to find some firewood. After a long journey of climbing and gathering, the harvest in his bag is growing larger, but his stomach has long been growling with hunger. Ollie looks for dry firewood by the cliff's edge. Every time he finds a piece, he throws it down the cliff. Once he has collected enough, he slowly makes his way down the cliff face, bit by bit and very carefully. Although Ollie is older now, climbing cliffs and steep rock faces like this is second nature to him. When he was younger, he herded animals in these mountains and was constantly climbing up and down like a mountain goat while foraging. He developed excellent rock climbing skills. This is what life in the wild is like. Even as you get older, you still have to rely on your own hands and feet to live in harmony with nature and make a living in these mountains. In a moment, Ollie made his way safely down the cliff. He picked up the firewood he had tossed down earlier. He went over to the waterfall and started a small campfire. He even brought some chicken skewers from home. The roar of the waterfall filled the air. A cool mist sprayed his face. As he grilled the meat, he enjoyed the mountain's cool air. This is a special kind of pleasure, one you can only find deep in the mountains. The chicken skewers were grilled to a golden, fragrant brown. Ollie took out the flatbread from his cloth bag, along with an onion and some fruits and vegetables. His picnic turned out to be even more plentiful than he expected. All these ingredients had been specially prepared for him by his wife early in the morning. Lunch deep in the mountains was not just about filling his stomach. It was a taste of home. After eating and drinking his tea, Ollie got up and picked up his trash. Whether it was fruit peels or plastic packaging, he put everything into his bag. Having lived in the mountains his whole life, Ollie understood better than anyone the generosity and fragility of nature. Leaving no trace of trash behind is a habit he and his people have followed for generations. It is also the simplest promise between them and the mountains. After packing everything up, Ollie shouldered his cloth bag and headed down the mountain with his bag of trash, ready to go to the next spot to pick fruit. These little black berries looked a bit like grapes from a distance. They also resembled blackcurrants. Nature holds many gifts like these. Maybe they are edible, or maybe they are just scenery decorating the forest. Ollie got into the passenger seat. The photographer would drive the pickup truck. His legs were bothering him, so during this mountain drive, he could also get a little rest. A short while later, the truck stopped in front of Ollie's own car. He put the heavy bag of mountain rocks into the trunk. For the next part of the journey, the pickup truck was no longer needed. Instead, he would switch to his own car to go pick fruit. After more than half an hour on the bumpy mountain road, Ollie arrived at this fruit orchard. There were many types of fruit here. Ollie wanted to pick some to bring back for his wife to try. Ollie decided to pick some grapes first. Hanging on these vines was a local variety of green grapes. This type of grape fully ripens between September and October. They still needed another month for the best picking time. Ollie chose a few bunches with plum fruit and a slightly translucent color to take back for his wife to have an early taste. Ollie pointed to the peak ahead and said, "This is one of the high peaks of the Dena mountain range. Its elevation is around 4,000 meters. But unlike the higher snow-capped mountains, it does not have snow year-round, only at the turn of winter and spring will the higher parts be covered in a layer of white." After picking the grapes, Ollie went to pick some apples and some pomegranates and other fruits to take back and enjoy with his wife. The skin of these apples is pinkish red. They are suited to the local cool mountain climate. It is a local variety cultivated here. Some of the early ripening ones can be eaten in late August, while the late ripening varieties are ready in October. After picking the fruit, Ollie and the photographer headed home together, loaded with the day's harvest. Driving along, the vehicle came to a bridge. Ollie explained that this bridge has been here for 80 years. It was later extensively repaired or rebuilt, so now it looks very new. The vehicle continued forward. Along the way, they occasionally spotted wildlife. Unfortunately, it was too far away. Even when zooming in with the camera, it was still impossible to see it clearly, let alone what it was holding in its mouth. After a drive of over an hour, the vehicle finally pulled up to their home. As soon as Ollie got out of the car, the family's big yellow dog immediately ran over, wagging its tail excitedly. His wife Manny also hurried out to greet him and helped carry things inside. Ollie then gave her the leftover food from his lunch and asked her to feed it to the dog. The big yellow dog had already smelled the food and was wagging its tail with excitement. As Manny took out the fruit, she asked him, "Did you have a good time at Dena Mountain?" Ollie said it was pretty good, but I twisted my knee. It still hurts now. Hearing this, Manny said with concern, "Didn't I tell you to be careful? How did it happen?" Ollie replied helplessly, "I jumped onto a rock, but my foot slipped, and I twisted my knee." After all the fruit was brought in, Ollie and his wife carried the bag of mountain rocks back into the house together. Here in these mountains, their life is simple and peaceful. Ollie is the pillar of the family. He handles the herding, the foraging, and all the heavy lifting. He carries the toughest burdens on his own shoulders. And towards Manny, he always shows extra consideration and affection. It brings a special warmth to their simple life deep in the mountains. Looking at this basket of fresh fruit and this heavy bag of mountain rocks, as well as the medicinal herbs Ollie gathered, Manny felt a deep sense of satisfaction and contentment. Ollie took out the aromatic herbs and let his wife smell their fragrance. His voice was full of the joy of the harvest. Ollie took out the rose hips he had picked and explained their uses to his wife. As evening approached, the light inside the house grew dim. Life in the mountains flows by quietly, day after day. Perhaps this is the happiness that belongs to Ollie and Manny in these familiar mountains. In every return, in every moment of sharing, They spend their years peacefully with nature and with each other.